Hello, you. It's me. And being as I'm on the outside, but still a part of girl world, I nominate Gypsy to be a part of it, and I'm not kidding. Look at this message. Everyone knew my past when I was released, and y'all shouted "Queen." And now, almost a year later, I'm bullied and harassed nonstop. Accountability begins when you decide. Does anybody read Amberlynn Reid in this? Because she always said, oh, when I started, y'all were there supportive of me. And now all I get is bullied and harassed because I'm fat. Has nothing to do with how terrible a person you are, right? And that's the thing. Gypsy saying accountability just rubs me the wrong way, because she is very clear now. I remember seeing, I'm interrupting myself, I know. I remember seeing the Dr. Phil thing, all right, where she was very clear that she made a mistake. It was her fault, and she's paying the price for it. That's what she said on Dr. Phil. Now, she's saying that she made a mistake, but she didn't actually do the crime. Therefore, she doesn't need to be accountable for it. She's not accountable for a young man who has been put in prison for life as a result of her manipulation, her doing. And I still think, my opinion, since the records showed that her mother was hurt 17 times, only 4 of those were by the hand of Nicholas. So what about the rest? What about the other 13? And they were positioned on her back, or behind her anyway, whereas the other 4 were in the front. Now, we know that Nicholas actually did that deed, but I still think, my opinion, that he stabbed her when she was already gone, or on the cusp of gone. I don't even think what Nicholas did caused her death. I think it's what, allegedly, my opinion, what Gypsy did first before he got there. And she's very calculating. She may not be smart, but she's calculating, which is another reason why I always think of Amberlynn Reid when I think of Gypsy. And I'm saying Amberlynn Reid because a lot of people thought that I was talking about Amber Heard, and funny enough, she'd fit in girl world too. But it is Amberlynn Reid that I was discussing, or comparing Gypsy to. Here's another thing that I find so interesting. This is a thing that was put out. This is part of it. And oh, by the way, these screenshots are all coming from a channel called Case, C-A-S-E, who covers this Gypsy thing beautifully. He's really good. Go check him out. But listen to this and tell me if this doesn't sound Amberlynn Reid-esque, or Amberlynn Reid coded, as she likes to say. It says this decision, the decision was that she is going to go offline if she's going to have a private account. And the only way that you could access the private account is if you ask for her permission. And she says she's only doing it for people that she knows. So she's putting you guys in timeout. I don't know how long that will last. But if she's like Amberlynn Reid, it probably won't last long, because she's attention-seeking hooer. Anyway, she says this decision was made with consideration to the well-being of my own mental health, her mentals, guys, that as well as the overall well-being of my family and daughter. We are all doing very well, nobody asked, and are in good spirits, excited for our futures moving forward. So, and moving forward, of course, for Gypsy is, she's got another book coming out. There's going to be a second season of her TLC show, and who knows what else. She made herself into a public person. Right when she got out of prison, Gypsy said that she just wanted to go home and live a nice, quiet, private life and just, try to get back to normal. All right. Well, what has she done in the year that she's been released? She hasn't gotten back to normal. She has been nothing but in the public eye consistently, which is how we see her, how we know that she's not a good person. She has insisted people start looking into the records to figure out, what really happened, except that people have, and they realize that she has told a whole lot of different stories. She changes the narrative to suit her purposes at that point in time. Gee, sounds a little bit like Amberlynn Reid, doesn't it? Gotta change the narrative a little so you don't look bad. Gypsy does it too, although to a little more of a degree in psychopathy, because Amberlynn Reid has not, that I'm aware of, helped someone to pass away, and Gypsy did. Gypsy not only tried once, but 2 or 3 times, at least one other time that I know of, where she used a BB gun thinking it was an actual gun and aimed it at her mother. But unfortunately it wasn't, unfortunately for Gypsy, I guess at that time, it wasn't an actual gun. But Gypsy has time and time again said, well, you need to look at the facts, you need to look at the case. People have seen where she's lied. Gypsy is really going to be center in her own downfall. She's going to be the one to do it. She's the one who is doing it, quite frankly. People have seen so much, so many lies, so many contradictions. I mean, the whole narrative of her saying, well, it wasn't working out with my husband and I, Ryan, so I filed for divorce, doing all the legal things, and then I got together with Ken again. No, you got together with Ken and then filed paperwork, filed the divorce papers. You know, again, trying to change the real narrative into something so that she looks good. You know, she acts so innocent, getting so upset when Ryan was dancing with some girl. Apparently wasn't even on his, or maybe it was on his Instagram, I don't know. Or TikTok, I'm not sure which one. But he's dancing with a girl, and then she freaks out, Gypsy. Well, that's my husband. That's my husband. We're still married. That's my husband. Is that appropriate, Gypsy? Do you think that was appropriate? I mean, you're so happy and so in love with Ken, and you're having Ken's baby. Why would you even be watching what Ryan is doing? Who cares? He is soon to be your ex-husband. Gee, that sounds an awful lot like something Amberlynn Reid would do. I mean, these ladies could not be any more similar in so many ways. Seriously. Their attitudes towards others. Gypsy's attitude, acting as if she's done nothing, and suddenly the world is turning on her, and it's just bullies. Bullies like when you bullied one lady so much that she got fired from her job? Is that what you mean by bullying or cyberbullying? Gypsy is just gross and disgusting, and she is the reason why people don't like her, because of her attitude, because she thinks she's untouchable. And many people have pointed out the fact that she has broken her parole. Why isn't she back in prison? They let her get away with literal passing someone away. Literal passing someone away. They've let her get away with that. And so she must think she's untouchable, that she can do anything she wants. And she's starting to realize that she doesn't have control of people. People will look into your past. People will look into the documents. People will find, oh wait, what she's saying isn't true. Or why did she give 5 different reasons for this or for that? Or for why she was here or why she was there? People see. You can try to change the narrative all you like, Gypsy. But people see you. We see what you do. We see your attitude. We see that you have yet to take accountability for what you did, for what you went to prison for. You're a criminal, and you have not done anything to change. Not a thing. And you're surprised that people don't like you? Because you're not likable. Very much like Amberlynn Reid. Although she has some charm to her every once in a while that comes out. But she's not a likable person. She's not a nice person. She likes to be controlling too. And Gypsy just took it a little further. A lot further. But Gypsy is doing the exact same things. Oh, I have to take a step back from my mentals. Oh, I have to put things on private for my mentals. If you had cared about your mentals, then why didn't you get the free therapy, one-on-one therapy that you could have gotten in prison? Why didn't you take that? You turned it down. Oh, you don't need that, don't you? Now, you won't even admit to the crime that you were in prison for. You did that, Gypsy. No one else did. You did that. Sure, you got some patsy to get in there and quote unquote do the job for you, or at least make it look that way so that he goes to prison for life and you don't. But you did it. Your mother would still be alive and kicking if it wasn't for Gypsy Rose. People seem to forget that, but now people aren't. People are not forgetting that. That's why Gypsy is not likable. That's why Amber is not likable, because they never change. That's why Chantal isn't likable, because she doesn't change either. You can talk a good game, but guess what? People see the actions that you don't make as much as the actions that you do. And with Gypsy and her, oh, I want to help people in prison, you haven't done shit. You look at the Melendez brothers, they never had hope of getting out of prison. And yet, they still started all these different programs to help prisoners. Did Gypsy do that? No, she took advantage of it, but she didn't do anything. When she was in prison, she got her GED and then nothing. And GED was for herself. It wasn't to help prison reform. Gypsy is nothing but a grifter, a liar, and an unaliver. She's not a good person. And why is she getting so much attention? In a way, it's good, because now we can see her for who she is. And now, I know for one, I'm going to step back. The only thing I'm curious about now is when CPS is going to swoop in and take that child, if in fact there is a child, which honestly is in question too. Everything about her is in question. And you're not going to get the truth from Gypsy Rose any more than you could get the truth from Amberlynn Reid. It's really sad. These people, why do they have a platform? Why? They're not good people. We see that they're not good people. We watch because we hope. I know with Gypsy, I thought she was a victim, and I had high hopes for her. I was glad she was getting out. This was all before I knew who she was and who she is. I don't know. Do they need to take their platform away? Yes, I feel like they should. But, same with Amber. She shouldn't be on YouTube either. But I guess in a way it's a way to let us see firsthand, bad people and what they do and how they manipulate, so that we can learn to not be manipulated by them. And I think Gypsy now is just mad because people aren't buying her shit anymore. And hopefully that'll continue. I'd like to see her maybe working at, I don't know, McDonald's. I'd like to see her work as a janitor in a hospital. Something that could humble her a little bit. Although being a janitor in a hospital is a huge, huge responsibility. And she would have to be watched every minute just to make sure she's not, poisoning the water or taking shortcuts that could harm people permanently. But Gypsy needs to be humbled. She needs to get on her knees and scrub some toilets. Except that, I just want to be clear, doing that is an important job. And it's not... I don't want people, janitors of America, to get mad at me, because it's a good job. It's a good paying job. And it's an important job. I'm not trying to degrade the job. I do want to degrade Gypsy. Oh, I know what she could do. She could work at a rescue place for animals and clean up after them. Something like that. Take away her fame because she doesn't deserve it. She's not a celebrity. Although, I guess a lot of celebrities aren't good people either. But she's not a celebrity. She needs to take accountability for what she's done. And she hasn't. And she needs to do some hard labor, some hard work, some humbling, so that she can take accountability for herself and know what she's done. This is a great big old ramble. But anyway, I think Gypsy fits really well with Girl World. Her and Amber would probably hate each other because they're so much alike. But the comparisons are very strong. They were just screaming at me. So I wanted to mention it. By the way, once again, the screenshots I got today were from a YouTuber called Case. He is brilliant when it comes to Gypsy. Please take a gander at what he has to say, because he's really a brilliant guy. Anyway, that's all I got to say.